Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. This is going to be just a short and sweet restorative flow this morning. You're welcome to wear whatever is comfortable. Grab a block or a bolster or just a sturdy pillow if you don't have either of those things. We're going to start in a seated position with this nice block. So lots of options here. You can sit back with your knees under you, like I am right now. Stick the block right under your sits bones, or you can sit cross-legged. Again, the goal here is to have your knees lower than your hips. A lot of people are resistant to raising their hips up to achieve this posture. I'm not really sure why, but if you have any tension in your hips, you're going to cause all kinds of misalignment in your back. So just get those hips above the knees. And we're going to settle in here, nice tall spine. Go ahead and close your eyes. Hands can rest wherever they're comfortable. Miss Nellie Bly is batting around an abandoned toilet paper roll this morning, so if she comes by with that, that's what's going on. But other than that, just take this moment to leave behind anything that's not in the present moment. Leave behind anything that's on your to-do list. It'll still be there at the end of this half hour. I promise. Starting to notice the breath. And maybe noticing the space in between your inhale and your exhale. And your exhale and your inhale. Just that slight pause. Soft body scan as we start this practice. Moving from the tip of your head all the way down to your toes. Just noticing anywhere you might be holding some tension this morning. It's totally okay if it's there. It's just your body trying to tell you something. So maybe sending some extra breath into those spots of tension, maybe in your neck or shoulders. A few breaths here on your own, just quietly. Eyes stay closed. You notice your thoughts start to wander, or if you notice your mind is elsewhere right now, that's okay. Just gently bring it back. Compassionately bring it back to the breath. Go ahead and gently flutter open your eyes. And we're going to drop the chin to the chest first thing here. So just finding a nice stretch down the back of your neck. Maintain nice deep breaths. No need to force anything. If you want to stay here, you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, take some big neck rolls. Finding a slow, full range of motion. Switching directions. Each time you come down to the front. And making sure to even out both sides. Bring your gaze back to neutral on an inhale, send your arms overhead. And interlace all 10 fingers, send them up to the ceiling. Chin is slightly tucked here. And shoulders are still reaching down away from the ears, so you're not vice gripping your head in between your arms. There's some nice soft space around your ears. Shoulder blades are pulling in and down your spine. Take an inhale, reach for the sky. And on an exhale, find a gentle twist. Left hand comes behind your back. Right palm comes to your left thigh. Again, no need to force anything. You're not wringing yourself out. You're just giving yourself some space. Taking this wherever feels good this morning. And taking your gaze wherever that feels good. So maybe you look directly to the side. Maybe you bring it back towards the back of the room. Couple more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Gentle twist. Exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the other way. Left palm to right thigh. Gaze finds comfort. You're welcome to close your eyes for any and all of this practice, if that brings you a greater sense of peace, of ease. You can just follow my voice. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in. Last breath out. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. And exhale, slowly come onto all fours from wherever you are. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists, hips over knees. Take a moment and find this alignment. Gaze is straight down at the mat. Index finger knuckles are pressing into the earth. Got nice starfish hands here, lots of space in between your fingers. Next, inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, starting some cat and cow cycle. Exhale, press into the mat, round your spine, drop your head. Lots of freedom of movement here today, so find an expression of cat-cow that works for you, that your body is telling you to go for this morning, whether that's some extra movement or just the traditional cat-cow. No wrong answers here as long as you are not experiencing any pain. And if you have any wrist pain here in cat-cow, you can always come to make two fists and come to your knuckles, the space in between your two knuckles. Few more rounds of your breath. And then bring your knees out wide to the edges of your mat. Sink your hips towards your heels. Find the child's pose. So melting your heart down to the earth. You can bring a block under your forehead here if it's too much to reach for the mat. Otherwise, rest your forehead on the mat. Noticing your connection to the mat, noticing the way the earth meets you to hold your weight. Really let it hold you. Release even more. Every single exhale, releasing 5 to 10% more. Becoming heavier, becoming relaxed, becoming almost like you're just melting through the floor. Bringing your awareness back to the breath. Just noticing gently if your mind is elsewhere, bringing it back to that anchor, that Ujjayi pranayama. From here, gently walk both hands over to the right side of your mat, maybe even off of it. You can bring your left palm on top of your right hand. And you're finding a nice side body stretch all the way down through your left hip. Keep pressing down and back through your hips. Releasing your forehead here. Take a big breath in. Breathe out. Come back through center. Make your way to the other side. Maybe even come off the mat. Right palm can come on top of left. Keep sending your right hip down and back. Nice side body stretch. Big breath in. Breathe out. Slowly come back to center. Come on up to a tabletop. Recenter yourself here. Knees under hips, palms under shoulders. And take a moment, shift side to side. Maybe you find some extra hip pops after this child's pose. Then tuck your toes. Going into a gentle down dog here. Lift your hips to the ceiling. Pedal out your feet. Shake your head yes and no. Any movement here that brings some extra comfort into your body is welcome. That's always true of any practice, not just restorative. Even in the middle of the most challenging or uncomfortable poses, finding a way to bring some comfort in. Bring some ease in, some sukha. Take a breath in, wave forward to plank pose. Exhale, send it back to downward dog. Breath to movement here, just a few breaths. Inhale, forward to high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last time, forward inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your palms back towards your heels, back towards your toes here. Finding a ragdoll pose. You can spread your feet out even wider if you choose. Grab opposite elbows or find a different grip that feels better. Sway side to side. Let any tension just melt off your back. And then release your hands to the mat. Wiggle, walk your feet back in underneath your hips. Find a halfway lift. Inhale. You can press your palms to your thighs, to your shins, wherever is comfortable. Neck is nice and long, so your gaze is down at the floor here. Take an inhale. Pull your shoulder blades in and down your back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees really deep. Inhale, rise all the way. Arms out and up overhead. And exhale, bring them through heart center. We're going to find one balancing pose here today. So coming into tree pose, we've done this in the past. If you've done this with me, you are welcome to get the hair out of your eyes first. And then find a block. If you'd like to put a block underneath your toe, this is a great, if I don't fall over, tree pose. So you're welcome to be here, especially if you have any ankle weakness or ankle injuries. This is a great place to be in tree. You can also leave it on the ground, or you can bring it to your calf or your thigh, wherever feels good to you, wherever brings this to a place where you can stay for a few breaths. And stay at heart center today, staying a little bit more grounded. Staying a little bit more centered, more focused on this connection to our heart center. Breathing where you are. If you notice that your breath has gotten faster in this pose, maybe because you're on one leg, see if you can slow it back down. See if you can bring it back to the place it was at the very beginning of practice. Take one more breath in. Exhale, slowly release it to the mat, shake it out. Switching to the other side. Right foot grounds, left foot comes into your tree pose, whether that's on the ground, on a block, on your calf, on your thigh. Just avoid that knee. That's the only place we don't want the foot here. Taking some nice deep breaths. Again, keeping hands at heart center, connecting your thumbs to your sternum, finding that extra sense of grounding, even on one leg. Nice, deep, even breaths here. Big inhale. Stay, exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, slowly release, shake it out. This time, go ahead and step your feet out to a nice wide stance. As wide as is comfortable for you. Getting a nice hamstring stretch here. Turn your toes in just a tiny bit towards the center of your mat. Take an inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, find a wide leg forward fold. Bringing this to a point of comfort for you once again. So maybe you grab a block, place it underneath your forehead. Let yourself be heavy here. So we're not necessarily in a restorative practice going for our very edge. We're really going for a release. Sometimes it's hard to not really go for that edge, right? We're taught to always reach for the very edge of what we can do. But sometimes it's good to just sit with your body in a space that it can restore. Couple more breaths wherever you are. And then from wherever you are, bring your palms underneath your shoulders. So we're going for a bit of a half lift shape here. You can also bring your palms to a block or a pillow. Nice long spine, gaze is down at the floor. Finding length through the spine, and then wiggle walking your feet toe to heel back to center, finding a forward fold. Your choice for a hand grip here, you can reach behind and give yourself a calf massage. You can interlace your hands behind your neck. If that gives you some extra release, you can find your traditional ragdoll. You have an option to stand on your hands here, so walking your toes towards your wrist creases. Keep a bend in your knees today if you're doing this. So no need to work towards that straightening. Just keep them nice and soft. Once again, seeing what it's like to not live on the edge today. You can always switch grips midway through. Find some movement if that feels good. And slowly release your palms to the mat. Go ahead and step it back to a tabletop. And then gently lower all the way to the floor. Finding a nice soft Sphinx pose today. So forearms are parallel to one another. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Nice wide fingers, lots of space in between your fingers. And no compression in the neck here. So you're not wrenching your neck up to look at the ceiling. It's actually down. My gaze is in between my thumbs. Nice long spine, lots of space in between the vertebrae. Think about pulling your heart forward through your arms. You might even have a sensation of pulling on the mat just a little bit. See what that brings in. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down, palms by your sides. Kick your heels towards your glutes and gently windshield wiper your heels side to side. Find a nice lower back release. And then from here, making your way onto your back, however that's easiest for you. You can just flip on over, grab that block or bolster or pillow, whatever you might have. Go ahead and slip it underneath your hips. So play around with the height here, or play around with the pillows if you need to go grab an extra 2 or 3 or 7. You can go do that and stack them on up underneath your hips. Goal here is to have your hips higher than your heart. A lot of people talk about inversions in yoga, and they are really important, but you don't have to do a headstand to get in an inversion. This is an inversion. So is a wide leg forward fold. So is a standing forward fold. All these things are inversions. Anywhere where your heart is below your hips. So all the fancy things like headstand aren't accessible for everybody. But you don't need to do them to receive the full benefit of a yoga practice. There's so much you can do with most of your body on the ground. You're welcome to stay here in supported bridge, or you can lift your legs towards the ceiling for waterfall. Again, adjusting whatever's underneath your hips to the point where you're not experiencing tension in your lower belly or your upper thighs. This should all be nice and soft in here. It should feel like your legs are just kind of hanging out. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Close your eyes here and just breathe. Few moments of silence. Notice your breath. Switch your palms. Other hand to belly, other hand to heart. Keep breathing. If your feet are airborne, gently bring them back to the mat. On an inhale, lift up so you can move out whatever is underneath you. And then gently bring your knees in towards your chest and take some small circles here, both directions. This should be a nice lower back release once again. And then keep your right leg pulled in, left leg out long, heading into supine twist here. Inhale, hug your right knee into your chest. And on an exhale, bring it across your body, left palm to right thigh, right arm comes to a T or to a cactus arm if you don't have space for a T. Gaze falls towards your right. Nice big breaths here. On your next breath in, slowly come back to center. Hug both knees in before you switch sides. Send your right leg out long. Shimmy over a little bit if you need to. Inhale, hug your left knee to your chest. And exhale, take it across your body, supine twist. Left arm to a T or a cactus, whatever you have space to do. Maybe hold your dog's paw. He's not enjoying it. Nice deep breaths here. One more big inhale. Exhale. And slowly come back to center. Hug both knees in once more. Hug everything into your midline. Give yourself a squeeze. Tense every inch of your body up as much as you possibly can. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, let everything go. Legs long, arms wide. Take up some space. Find your final resting pose, whatever shape that looks like for you this morning. And returning once again to the breath. Breath as anchor, breath as presence. Breath as energy, breath as connection. Letting the ground rise to meet you here. Once again, thinking of melting all the way through the floor. Noticing how you feel. Noticing how your body feels. Finding any remaining bits of tension. Breathing into those places. Send them some love. You're welcome to stay here. I encourage you to stay here if your morning allows. If you're ready to come out of this practice, go ahead and bring some small movements into your fingers and toes. You can find a gentle rock back and forth in your head. And on your next breath in, find a full body stretch, arms overhead. Coming back to life. Knees come to your chest. Gently roll to one side and make your way to the seated position where we started this practice today. Wherever that was. Keeping your eyes closed, finding that nice tall spine once again. Closing this morning with one big breath. Inhale through your nose. Pause at the very top. Take in one more sip of air. And then open your mouth, sigh it out. All that tension melting away. Thank you for being here this morning. I hope that finds you a little bit more at ease than maybe you were 30 minutes ago. And have a beautiful day. Let me know if there is anything you need. Give this video a like if it was helpful. See you all next week.